Welcome to August 25th, 2022, and this is episode 17 of Mystery Stamping with Creative Coach. And today I have a card that it does have several pieces, but I think that you will like it. It's very cute. So the first bit of our clues is a card base, and I put on here can be coordinating cardstock collar or a thick basic white. Now I'm doing the collared, and this is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of basic white or vanilla, but today I'm using basic white, and it's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I have a piece for my sentiment, and it's 1 inch by 1 3/4. So those are my two basic white. The coordinating DSP. You do not have to abide by the different colors, but I think it gives it more interest. So I have a piece here that is 1.5 by 4.5 and on landscape, but this piece does not necessarily, it went every which way, but if you had a directional piece, you would want it to be on landscape. And this paper that we are using is from the Rustic Harvest DSP pack. It's a 12 by 12 pack. And so the next piece that we have, it's a light piece. So this one's a dark one, and the next one's a light piece, and it's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then my third piece is another dark piece, and it's 2 inches by 2 3/4. And this one I didn't put landscape or portrait because it's a square. But this one here I put as landscape, but this is a print that doesn't matter. But just in case you used a print that did matter, I put the directions on, like directional on it. Our coordinating cardstock today is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. A piece that is 3 by 3. A piece that is 3 by 2 1/4. And a piece that's 2 by 1 1/4. And then the stamp that I'm going to use is from the Go-To Greetings, and I'm going to use this one right here. That's Just a Note. The ink that I'm going to use, I was going to use Daffodil Delight. I will try it on this one. If not, I've got another piece of white cardstock that I could use to swap out. If I don't like it, I can bring in my Memento ink if I want to. So we will get started. I'll set this off to the side. We'll get started with episode 17 of Mystery Stamping. Okay, so set those off to the side. Bone folder. Trace on that spore line. All right, so I'm gonna bring in our basic white. And that's going to be the first piece that we're going to put down. I'm using my bottle that's got a needle tip on it, but it's got my Tombow mono liquid glue in it. So just going to add this to the front of my base. And I'm just going to center it on there. If you have a very dark piece, you could cut another size like this to put on the inside, but mine was a light enough that I think I could stamp something or write something on the inside. All right, so let's start doing our layering. Those. Set that off to the side. So I'm going to bring in more liquid glue. I try to put, you can barely see it on there. I try to put a small amount. You can hear my stomach growling. I am so sorry. Okay, so now then we're going to bring our card base in. We're going to try to do equal around the 3 sides. We'll go for that. And the next one we want to do is the square piece. I thought about putting the acorns and the leaves for this piece here, but I wanted a little bit more white. Okay, now we're going to take this. We're just building layers on our card base. And now I'm going to place that. We'll have a short amount down here, so about one of these blocks. And then from the edge here to from the edge of the Daffodil Delight to the other edge of Daffodil Delight, it's about the same. So that equals about what this is. Okay, so it's starting to come together. Let's grab our next one. I could have used the green. I'm going to layer that like that. And it's going to be what gets placed next. I have a second card, so if I'm going too fast, you can see whenever I'm doing the second one. It's the same principle, just different paper. So now then, I want equal amount at the top showing and bottom here, but then I want it to also be equal there. So how much is showing here to here and how much is there? I want to get it as straight as I can with the other lines. Okay. So now then we are doing a little bit of our dimensionals. So I'm going to bring in my last little piece of my coordinating cardstock. A couple dimensionals on the back. And then I'm going to center it right here. So like that. And then bring in my ink. Stamp. Before I stamp, I want to grab a piece of scratch paper. I want to see that I've got it fairly straight on my block. I think I do. I did say I didn't think about the limitation of sentiments for this size for the piece for the sentiment, but I found a few that would fit on there. So hopefully you all have that too. If not, then increase the size of this piece and this piece. If you have to increase it too much, then you'll want to bump this piece up a little bit. I don't think it'll matter to these, but the ones right here that is actually your focal point of your sentiment, then that might. Okay, I'm gonna add glue to the back of my sentiment, bring my card in, and center it on previous piece that I popped up. And there you go. That is our mystery solved. So it gives you interest with the different, shapes. Well, this is a longer rectangle than this one. This one's a little bit wider, but different shapes, the different colors. So that is our card number 1. So like I said, if I was going too fast, then you can catch up with this next card. So that one was more of a fall because it's, September. Once it hits September, I feel like that's when I get excited for fall. So I'll move that out of the way. So I'm going to bring in more Christmas colors. So I have my card base, which is real red, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at the 4 1/4. I have my piece of basic white. That is 4 by 5 1/4. My sentiment piece, that's 1 by 1 3/4. My coordinating coordinating DSP, and I'm using the Sweet Christmas. So my first piece is the 1.5 by 4 1/4. My next piece is my 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And my last piece is 2 by 2 3/4. And my coordinating cardstock is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. And the next one is 3 inches by 3 inches. And then the next one is 3 by 2 1/4. Yes, that's right. And then I have my little piece for my sentiment that is 1 1/4 by 2. So that goes there. So the stamp set that I'm using for this one is the Hope and Peace, and I'm going to put with love and hope right here for that. So we will get started with all of this. So I'm stacking those in the orders. Hold my cardstock. I figure if I do 2 cards, when I do the first one, maybe I'm going too fast, and especially if there's several pieces. And so I, go through it so you kind of see how it goes together. And then whenever I do the second one, then you already know how it's going together, but then you get a chance to see the steps again. So there you go. So there's step number 1. So I will need to put a piece on the inside for this one because this is darker. I could use like a white gel pen to sign on the inside, but I'll decide that later. So I will sit off here to the side. Now I'm going to start adding these. I think I'm gonna do, I was gonna do the green side, but I think I'm gonna do the striped side. We'll just see what that looks like if you use a lighter piece. Okay. Bring that up here. I'm gonna add that to my card. I like this candy cane paper. Very pretty. I can get better control with that needle point than with the actual bottle. And it's a little bit easier because it's a softer plastic. It's a little bit easier to squeeze. So I have a couple of them in class for a few ladies that they have some grip issues, which sometimes I do too. I'll add my piece here. I'm going to bring this in. Right here. See, once you know how it goes together, it goes together so quickly. Bring in my dimensionals. You could stamp that, add it, and then put it on with dimensionals. Now that's there. And then I have real red ink pad or bring in my scratch paper again. I want to make certain it's on here. And now I'm going to check for the straightness. Okay, I think that'll work. None of the stamps that I'm using are photopolymer, but if they were, I have a mat under my blotter paper that is a like feels like the red rubber that's on the stamps, or the sponge part between the red rubber and the block. And so that's why I don't always use a piercing mat, because this is a large one. I have no idea where I got it, but I like it on my surface. So I know all my stamping then should work out. And so that is my second one. Now I'm going to show you the one that I did before. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this piece in that red. I just struggled with the ink pad. There. 2 sides to every project. Okay. So this is my second one. I'm going to put my sentiment, or the first one that I made, my sample. There we go. I think I kind of like that one better because I like the red to bring out the red. I guess they could have switched this piece of coordinating cardstock to the garden green, but I didn't. So here is the first card, the second one that we made, and this one was my sample at the beginning. And I always show, this is how I do my cards. I have a piece of copy paper that I use, and I cut my pieces and I add, and then I go back through and I measure my pieces. So then that way I know about how big. And when it's all white, it actually look bigger than whenever it's just white on a dark piece of cardstock. But that's okay. It all worked out. I had sentiments that would work, but and then I write all the directions on the, or the things on the back, and that's what I use to type up my PDF. And so I hope you enjoy this. I like this layout. It takes a little bit to cut everything out, but I think it gives it a kind of a pop with the different elements to it. And I like sometimes just having something a little bit different, you know, for a card style to send out to people. And so with Christmas coming, I've got 2 Christmas cards already finished. So yay. I have a few others that I've been working on throughout the year. So I just need to gather them all up. So when it's Christmas card season, I can send those out. So thank you for spending the morning here with me for our mystery stamp. Happy stamping. Thank you.